Hi, I'm Diane. Welcome to Life Lived Alone. I'm making a series of cooking videos of family traditional meals that have been passed down through my family for well over 100 years. I mean, I am 76 after all. Cooking these traditional meals, it's not just about preparing food. It brings on a sense of love and remembering. To me, it's about my heritage. True, I don't fix these very often. However, I do vegetable casserole once a month. I do. But the other ones that I'm going to share with you, I don't cook that often, but when I do, it is just wonderful and filled with all kinds of memories. These meals connect us to our roots, but also to life skills. I remember watching my grandmother. She had a long pantry in her kitchen, and she had a big bowl that sat in there, and it always was covered with a cloth, and underneath the cloth she had flour in there. It was always ready to make dough. And when she finished that day's making dough, flour was still around the edges, and she would recover it. It was always there because she made biscuits every morning and various other doughs for different things. But I remember watching her, and I think I learned patience through her. She was a wonderful person. I think my grandmother and possibly my daughter Ashley may be the best people I have ever known in my life. And maybe I'll add Kurt, my grandson, to that list. But anyway, my grandmother was awesome. These family recipes are laden with stories and laughter, shared laughter. And let's be honest, to a lot of mishaps in the kitchen. Yeah, I've had my share. I have to tell you about two that my family will not let go of. They bring it up often and die laughing. So that's okay, as long as they're laughing about it. But I fixed this big meal, like a country meal. I don't even remember what I cooked. I do know that I had cornbread. Well, this was during a time next door in the house when I lived next door. And I worked all the time, and I was overwhelmed most of the time. So I'm going to blame it on that. But at the grocery store, back when I still went to the grocery store, I bought the wrong cornmeal. I just bought plain cornmeal, and I thought I was buying cornbread cornmeal, which I didn't. So I had this big pone, what my grandparents called it, pone of cornbread, on the table. Well, everybody cut a piece, and my son, oldest son, started laughing, and he said, "Mom, what is wrong with this cornbread?" Now, I used my regular recipe, but it was the wrong meal. It was like blah and hard and whatever. Anyway, one of my children threw it outside, and we had a dog named Hungry because he was always hungry, and he would not even touch it. And that has been a story that has been passed down, I guess, 14 years, and they still bring it up. Remember that cornbread you ate that Hungry wouldn't even eat? I have one more. I used to love to fix potato soup and make it real spicy, and put melted cheese on drop cheese on the top and bacon bits and serve it with French bread. I mean, it was wonderful. Okay, once again, I don't know what I was thinking that day, but I told all the kids and the kids next door, I always had many people to feed, that I was fixing potato soup that day. Oh, they were so excited because everybody loved that. I don't know what I did, but I didn't put any spices in it. Actually, I just boiled some potatoes and put a little bit of flour in it to thicken it. And everybody sat down to eat it, and they went, "Oh, Mom, what did you do to this potato soup?" And I went, "I don't know." And back then, actually, I could not taste. I had just started my little adventure with allergic asthma, and I lost my taste, so I didn't know it. Anyway, and they said, "Mom, this is just boiled potatoes." And my cat knocked something off. Just boiled potatoes, and they were laughing, and it was another joke that came up quite often, and still does. My grandson Blaze was there, and he brings that up a lot. Anyway, those are fun family cooking stories. I'm sure you've got them too. Okay, I'm going to interject here for a minute. I would be so appreciative if you would buy one of my t-shirts with my logo on it. They're only available until March the 10th, 2026, by the way. So it would help out my channel a lot if you would order one. Okay, back to cooking. During holidays, I would pull out my list of everything that I cooked, which was very long. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. And my daughter Ashley started helping me cook when my mother passed, because now it was my turn to keep the family tradition alive and cook these certain things on holidays, as my mom had done when her mother passed. So Ashley started helping me. She was very young. She was in her 20s when she started helping me. But she knew that it was going to be a hardship for me to pull it off, which it would have been, because it's like 20 items, you know what I'm saying. So we sat down every year with the list and made a new list and wrote down what we needed to do first. Now this is early in the morning because we're going to do it all the same day, except for the dessert. It was made the day before. But anyway, we would write everything down, write down the time to start it, when it would be finished, when to take it off the stove, so that we didn't have too many pots waiting in line to get on the stove, or too many things that needed to be in the oven and not have room to put them in. So it was well orchestrated. But we did that every holiday, and thank God she helped me. And my oldest son would kind of step in toward the end and help with the meat and cutting it and preparing it for the table, that kind of thing. But these traditions are so important in a family. So important. I don't think I could do it now. Actually, I know I couldn't, even if I had the room. That was quite an ordeal. It took all day just to cook. But those times, well, I'm getting all nostalgic again. Those times were times when we could share stories and laugh together and be together. At my family functions, we stayed at the table, seriously, sometimes 3.5 hours, and just kept sitting there talking. We enjoyed each other so much, so much. And how about the aroma when you're cooking? Those things remind you of home. When you're cooking all those wonderful things. Okay, I think these meals hold the family together. I hope that's the way you grew up. I hope you have that in your background. Okay, on to what we're doing today. I'm sorry. We are cooking a vegetable casserole, and I cannot remember when or how. Well, I think it came from my Aunt Carolyn, but I know it's been over 40 years since we introduced that into our repertoire of food for holidays. It is simple to make. It's 4 ingredients, 5 if you count butter. I mean, it's just so simple. It takes minutes. Stick it into an oven, and it's wonderful. So, it's time to go make a vegetable casserole. Be sure and stay tuned next week, because I'm going to be cooking tea cakes. Have you ever heard of tea cakes? Do you know what they are? I actually have my grandmother's recipe in her handwriting, so I can't wait to make that next. Okay, on to the kitchen. Before I start, I want to remind you that I'm only making half the recipe because I live alone. But if you're cooking for a family, you want to double it. Okay, here we go.